I think Kris, he showed that he is tough. I thought it was a horrible stoppage. I'm not saying that he would have won. I'm not saying he would have won the fight.
Wasn't going to win.
But the thing is, what he wanted exchanges.
Yes.
And right at that moment, he was getting one with the potential of something great happening. You don't know. I'm not saying that it would have happened, but I'm saying that the chances of it happening were a lot more likely than him and then Sean O'Malley running around and escaping out the whole fight. He finally got Sean O'Malley to stand in front of him in the last 30 seconds and exchange punches, and Herb Dean stops the fight. Horrible stoppage. I know I give Herb a hard time, but in these situations, I understand he's taken a lot of damage throughout the fight, but it was a bad stoppage. This is what the kid had been waiting for the whole time, is for Sean O'Malley to stand in the pocket and exchange with him, because he couldn't catch him. He was too long. Sean O'Malley was too long, too fast, too accurate, all those things. He finally got him there, and the ref stopped the fight. Bad stoppage.
You really think it was a bad stoppage?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, and this is why. Well, and I want everyone to understand how this goes, because you have to understand the position that Herb's in, because Herb's got a guy that's taking a ton of damage, and Kris was tough, really tough, okay, throughout the entire fight, but he was just taking shot after shot. There was times that O'Malley was on 100% hit rate. I mean, He couldn't miss in some of them. And, at the end of the first round, Kris was not looking too good. At the end of the second round, he was all right, but he was more lumped up because it was just more damage that he had taken. But he had taken a lot of shots. So what happens is, you're responsible for the fighter. So what, and this I've done this too many times. You're looking at a fighter that you're saying, all right, he's lost 2 rounds and he's lost them pretty badly. Okay. So now that he's coming into the 3rd round, all right, we're going to see how he starts this 3rd round. Is he changing anything that's happening? Is he going to do anything differently? And then we see that no, nothing's really changing as far as he's still coming forward. He's still tough as hell, but he's still taking a lot of shots. And now his offense is kind of slowing down a little bit because he's not able to get into range, and he's just taking the shots and not delivering anything back a whole lot. So then you start looking and saying, okay, does he have a submitter's chance? Does he have a chance of getting a submission, getting this guy to the ground, getting a submission? No, that's not his game. That's not what's going to happen. All right, so he doesn't have a submitter's chance. Does he have a puncher's chance? Well, a little bit. Okay, can he win on the cards? No way. That's not going to happen. All right, he's lost the first 2, and he's definitely losing this 3rd one. All right, I'm going to look for a place to get him out of this fight if it happens. Okay, meaning that I'm not going to sit there and give him a long leash. If he gets hit with a big shot and he goes down, I'm not going to sit there and let him take a bunch of shots trying to get himself back out. I'm going to get him out of the fight because he's not going to win the fight, and I don't want him to accept more damage. That's the kind of position that Herb was in. Here's the problem, and this is why I say I agree with you on it wasn't a good stoppage, in the fact that didn't happen. Yes, he was taking shots, but he was actually coming forward and actually trying to throw shots when Herb stopped the fight. And you got to look, and there was less than 30 seconds left in the fight. Now, Herb doesn't know the time. I'm not saying he does, and so that's okay. But he had not been knocked down. He had not been stunned and wobbled, and he was in that position where he was now having to, give ground and get away from Sean as Sean's hunting him down. None of those things had happened. And so in this position, Herb's got to wait. You are looking for that moment that you can get him out of the fight, but you can't create the moment. That moment is not for you to create, because there's this old saying, and it's wrong, and that, the fighter deserved to finish the fight. Okay? Most of the time that statement is wrong. A fighter earns the right to finish the fight. Yeah. And from what I was seeing from Kris, he was earning that right throughout. He had never lost that right to not finish the fight.
Yeah.
I kind of thought he should have been allowed to go on, because yes, he was being hurt, but he wasn't in that position where you could pull him out and it was just not taking him out of a fight because he was trying to hunt down, Sean O'Malley. He was trying to get inside. He was trying to land shots. And when the fight was stopped, he was throwing. You got to let him go.
Yeah. I also look at it too, like, I agree with everything you just said. I think Kris deserves the right to keep going anyways, and it should not have been stopped at that time. I've said that already. But the biggest thing is that if you are the UFC, you brought Kris in to be a highlight reel knockout, and that didn't happen.
No,
now,
but
what
you
do
got
do
a
with
highlight
Sean
reel.
O'Malley? You did, but it wasn't. But it
was
from
the wrong guy.
Yeah, it just was one of those things. I thought Kris looked fabulous. If all he had to do is have more output. I'm not saying he's going to be the next world beater. I'm not saying that Kris is going to he's going to come in and make a splash in the UFC. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying he earned another shot to have another fight in the UFC. I think that. Coming in on a short notice, having the fight that he had against someone who's highly touted, someone who's not in the top 15, by the way. I'm sitting here with Cody Garbrandt, and apparently we couldn't hear it, but he called out Cody. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're sitting there going like, oh, he's calling Cody out. We didn't hear it. We didn't realize that he had really called out Cody until someone had hit up in the comment section that he had called out Cody. And Cody and we were all just talking about how I was like, Cody, you shouldn't take that fight. Like, he's like, what if he calls you out? And he was like, well, I said, you've worked this hard to get to this point. He's trying to jump the line by fighting you. He's like, yeah, but I can beat him. I know, probably you can, but it only takes one shot. And here's the other thing. I love me some Cody Garbrandt. I love the way he fights. The problem, though, is that Sean's someone that could get underneath Cody's skin. And he's been proven to show that he does not know how to keep his temper under wraps when he fights. So he's got to keep that in check. If he can keep it in check, which I think he can now under Mark Henry, but if he can't keep it in check, it could be a horrible night for him against someone who's not even in the top 15 when he's already scheduled to fight Kai Kara France at 125. And if he wins that fight, Kai Kara France ranked number 6, if he wins that fight, he gets a title shot at 125. What would you do? I would lean more towards fighting Kai Kara France going to 125, or just stay at 135 where you're at, but don't fight Sean O'Malley. Everyone's like, oh, Brendan and Martin were like saying, yeah, he's a big money fight.
No, he's
is
not.
It really a big? He's not a big. They think he is because he's a star. But yeah, but is UFC going to pay you big money fight to fight him? He's not ranked in the top 15. It's not going. Like Cody's already a bigger name than him, but is he going to get paid to fight a bigger name? If he was like a Nate Diaz, then I'd say okay. But I don't know. He's not going to make that type of money.
But right now, Cody's ranked 5th at 135.
Yeah, at 135.
Yeah,
Why would you fight someone who's not even in the 15? Look, we had that battle out over here. They think because the casual fans know who Sean O'Malley is, that's going to bring more notoriety to Cody. And Cody, if you think about it, stylistically, I think for Cody, it's a tough fight, but I think Cody's faster, but just Cody's not as long. Cody's got heavier hands, as we've seen. Cody's got way heavier hands because tonight Sean O'Malley couldn't knock anything out. It was just one of those fights where Sean O'Malley has no power. Sure, he's got the stiff jab, he's got the stiff push kick, all those things, the tip kick, all that stuff. But if Cody touches you, I think Cody's faster. Cody's gonna have a hard time getting in, but Cody's got bigger power. I think Cody's got better wrestling. I'm not saying Cody should take him down because it will slow him down and make him more tired as the fight goes on. But you got to threaten those takedowns. I just don't think that it's a good fight for him. In terms of, there's nothing really to gain. Sure, you beat a guy named Sean O'Malley. Okay.
Well, first off, it doesn't make sense if you're looking and saying, okay, I can fight Sean O'Malley at 135, and that's not going to move me one step closer to a championship fight. Or I could fight Kai Kara France at 125, and if I win that, I get a championship fight. There's your answer.
Well, here's the other thing. He's ranked number 5, right? Is he ranked number 5?
Yep. In
Cody Garbrandt. So I guess, look, the way that Brendan and Martin were trying to talk about is like, well, if I fight him, that should guarantee me a title shot. He's not in the top 15. How are you going to get a title shot out of that?
You're not.
Now, if Ali, his manager, Cody's manager, if he can get him a title shot off of fighting Sean O'Malley, then okay, go right ahead. If you don't have to cut weight, if you don't have to get down to 125, you can just stay at 35 and fight Sean O'Malley. And if you win, you get a title shot.
Yeah,
I'm on board. I'm on board because honestly, when I was talking with Cody tonight, he's like, "Look, I walk around 147. He's like, I like the week of the fight. He's like, I really just like stop. I don't eat for like a day. He's like, I just sit in the salt bath for like a half a day. He's like, and I'm on weight. So I get it. Like, and I said, well, honestly, that's probably the best thing that's ever happened to you because your performances have been great. You just, in terms of weight, I'm talking to you guys. I didn't tell him this because I don't want to beat me up. But it was like, basically you just got to dial down the temper. If you dial down the temper and you just use your brain, which you can, your fight IQ, you're a fucking stud, man. He's an absolute fucking stud. So if he can do that, I think Cody just walks right through Sean O'Malley. He just got to make sure that Sean O'Malley doesn't get underneath the skin. Because when you're fighting someone who is not supposed to be on your level and they start touching you, you get more and more frustrated as the fight goes on. And you start reaching and lunging. You start trying to knock him out. And it ends up being this fight that you didn't prepare for. And it's not the fight you want to be in. And so that's what concerns me. And Cody's worked so hard to get to that position. And then now you have Sean O'Malley trying to jump the line to get to him. I mean, I get it. I understand. But you can't bite at all those little sheep at the bottom trying to nip at your heels. So, look, I like Sean O'Malley. I just think that he's got to work his way up because we started going through that 135-pound weight class. Fuck, there's fucking a ton of guys in there
dude,
that I don't think he can beat.
It's a
you think he beats Jimmy Rivera? You think he beats Jimmy Rivera? I don't think so.
He'd be lucky to.
Do you think he beats Dominic Cruz?
Nope.
Yeah, I think Dom may be the only one.
I don't think so.
The only reason why I say him is I think it's a hard fight for him. I'm not saying that. I just think Dom is we're just getting older. That's it. It has nothing to do with Dom being it. Dom's fucking phenomenal. You can't take away from everything he's done in the sport. But Dom slowing down a little bit and getting a little bit older. Dom had a hard time with that Casey Kenny guy. It wasn't a hard time, but it wasn't the fight that you would have wanted for him to be like to show that he's still a top guy. It's just he's just slowing down. It's just age. Father time's nothing he can do about it. He can just keep trying to get better every day.
But that's why you put Dom against Frankie Edgar and Dom against Aldo, and that's the fights for
Dom and Aldo
right now.
Dom and Frankie Edgar. Those are the fights to make right now.
100% agree.